Welcome to Medical Sales Live, the #1 resource for breaking into medical sales and building your career.
Welcome to another episode of Med Sales Live. With us today is Heinz Huegli, the CEO of Sinbone. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Heinz is the CEO of Sinbone, and for the last 33 years, Sinbone has been a leader in providing surgical educational models that are used in training for the orthopedic industry. Is that right?
That's exactly correct.
Good, and we're glad here. And Heinz is in the United States visiting your customer base?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good. So why don't you tell our viewers, Heinz, a little bit about Sinbone, your organization, and what services you provide to the industry?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Yeah, Sinbone provides models for the surgical education globally for all industries. And we have all kind of different models, and I think it's important to have very accurate models, which where the surgeons can be trained in the best way with artificial models.
Sure. So your products are used with. Tell me how they're used with the orthopedic customers that you have. Are the orthopedic customers purchasing and using your technologies to train surgeons? Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Mainly surgeons get trained on our models with all different kind of exercise. Also, they have to learn how to play with the tools, to use the tools in the right way. Also to reposition the bones in the right way. And we have many different models from just the classical bone fracture. And also we have minimal invasive as well products and task trainers, which makes it more difficult to get the operation done.
Okay, good. So I know that your technology is used throughout the United States, right, with different surgeons. So what does innovation look like? I know we met earlier and you were talking about all the innovation and all the new product development that you do at Sinbone. Can you describe a little bit about that?
Yeah. So very important is material research on our side, and this is still, as we know, we cannot just replace the bones and also the body, so with artificial material, but we can become as close as possible. And there's still a gap in between what exists today and what can be done in the future, and this motivates us also to work on biomechanical issues to get it better, and soft tissues to just make it more complete, to compare it to cadavers, for instance. Right. So that's on the models, but also more technology in regards of production and optimizing the processes.
Okay. So can you describe for our audience kind of what a cadaver lab is and how what you do is different for the person receiving the training versus a cadaver lab, and what's the benefit of using Sinbone technology?
Yes, so cadaver lab, it's definitely a good thing to have in the education, but I think it should be on the master level when you finish your education. So we try and focus on the lower levels, also to understand the skills, that we understand the skills, what kind of skills are needed, and then go from there. So if you have the basic skills, then we move on and get to the next level, basic and advanced training courses, where we are at really strong, and then of course cadaver will be the next level.
Sure. Okay. So where do you see your industry going in the future? Where do you see the space that you operate in? Where do you see that going?
So I think what we do will survive for, the next years for sure. We know also that robotics is moving in the operation rooms, and we support, of course, these tools as well with our training equipment. We try to find a connection point, that this can be also trained in a very good way, because all these things get more complex, so we have to understand much more than in the past, so even if these complex systems will take away a lot of navigation work for you, but at the end still the surgeon is responsible for the operation, and that's why the whole setup and the training setup as well is very important, and you have to do it several times, and also the education programs are much longer working with this robotic system than it was before. I think it's a big change in the industry if now these robots come on. So there was already the plan to do that 20 years ago or 30 years ago. It did not happen because the navigation and all these things were not as good as they are today. And with today's tools and technology, it really works. And I think also the people, the surgeons and the people around, they have now the confidence and trust what exists, what the industry has done.
Okay, good. So Heinz, tell me a little bit about the new technologies and that you're excited to see in the future. Maybe some new technologies that you guys are developing.
Yeah, that's important. We have to move on. As I said at the beginning, material is important, but also important is how to measure what we have done. So the navigation systems, which just were brought to the market over the last few years, are definitely very well received and have a good level reached already now. So the rollout will happen from different industry manufacturers these years. And from the education point of view on our side, we believe also to measure what you have done in a small scale area, basic principle, advanced course is important, and we would like to use sensors. There are 6D sensors which can measure all kind of directions. That we can measure distance, we can measure angle, if the reposition is correct. Right. We want to measure are the screws, for instance, at the right place, is the plate itself at the right side of the bone and things like that. So, and if we can measure all these issues with sensors, with also augmented reality, which can give you some more information in your classes maybe in the future.
Sure.
Then we could have task trainers which can be used very good in education centers, and colleges to train and get immediate result. And also what I think it's important, you can compare.
Right.
So there's no golden standard what is good and what is not good. So but if you can compare what your colleagues have done, I think that gives already a good motivation to become better and maybe train even more than you would do without measuring it.
So we need to bring some of their products in. For those of you who are listening to our podcast, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel so you can see the models that Heinz is describing right now. So Heinz, we have an example of some of the new technology that Sinbone has developed. Can you describe to our audience what this technology is?
Yeah. This is a new holder. We call it ROB holder. This will be used for the education with the navigation systems, with the new navigation systems which come to the market. Actually, which some are already on the market, from Stryker, for instance. J&J brings up new models here. It's a big race. Smith & Nephew as well. So we were visiting all these companies already to see what their detailed requirements are.
Right.
So this is a prototype here, what you see. And it's a very system you can...
I was going to ask you what the advantage of, what's the benefit of this?
Advantage is actually, if you use a robotic system to make your tibia cuts or also the knee replacement, then you have to, first of all, get the bones or the patient at the end, synchronized with the system. So that means you need then take this out and make some, if I may do that right now, you have to take this out, put that away here, and then make a rotation here with the leg, that this get married together with the robotic system. They know each other. So, and if this is done, you put on again here the knee on the holder. In our case, or then the patient would be also connected with the system here, which has some sensors on the legs, and then the work can be done guided with the robot system. And this is just a holder which helps to go through the whole education which has to be done with the navigation systems, with the robot systems, which usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. So it's you have to know a lot, so you have to know how to use the system itself, what is different to the normal procedure you were used before. I think it's quite a new approach and a big change to everybody involved in the operation, how the work will be done. Also, the tools itself are different.
Sure.
And
there's no denying the robotic surgery is here to stay. I mean, it is the future. Would you agree?
It is totally, and it brings up more reliability. Of course, costs will be much higher at the beginning, until everybody knows exactly how to use it. But that's, I believe, also the way to go.
Right. Okay. Good.
And here on this model, what we have is the kind of simplification of the training. If they make a tibia cut here, of course it's already done, but then you can just make a simple verification on it with a laser pointer, which confirms that you have done the right angle and the right depth of the cut.
Good. So Heinz, I see a real advantage in using this technology versus a cadaver training. I know there's some logistics involved with cadaver training, and what you solve without having to, it seems like you solve that problem of getting world-class training for residents, for salespeople in this industry without having to go through the burdens of cadaver training.
Yeah. I think it's a big advantage going this direction to find a way to simplify the education, to get a better outcome, with such artificial models we are doing. And I think depending on the level, I think these models can add a lot of value to the education on the lower, medium, and even also advanced level.
Right.
That's why we are also, I can say, very successful, and that's why we also can move forward. We invest in new technology, and this brings us forward.
Good. So Heinz, I want to thank you today for stopping by our Tampa headquarters and showing our audience about your technology. I can tell you at the Medical Sales College, our students use Sinbone technology regularly in the training. We try to simulate a surgeon experience for our students to give them a chance to, practice as, like you were a surgeon, right? Doing the procedure, understanding the instrumentation, understanding, as you were showing the tibial cut, what the surgeon is going to do. And so we have found Sinbone to be a great partner for us in our education of our students. So I want to thank you for stopping by, and thank you for coming to the...
It's a pleasure for me. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to Medical Sales Live. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel for the latest in all things medical sales.